Yes, I know this video is a long one, and you guys don't like long videos. The stats are in. Okay, but what I can promise you is that if you have clicked on this video, you want to learn about object snapping within AutoCAD, and we are going to cover it all from start to finish. That weird auto snap that you don't know what it does, we're going to cover it today. The project we're going to be making is going to be a 2D camera, and through making this camera, we are going to cover what these object snaps do and what they're used for. So when working in a project of your own, you can use them effectively. Now, object snapping within AutoCAD, it allows you to select points that you want to reference within your drawing or model. Object snapping, there's a couple of ways of getting this option up within CAD. The first way is clicking down below where it says object snapping on the options along here. See the two rectangles? If you click the down arrow, pop up with your object snapping options, and you can turn these on and off by clicking. You see the arrow comes on and disappears. You can just close this by clicking in your drawing. Now another way of getting up object snapping is by holding down Control and right clicking, and this has lots of different options. It also has some of the options we'll be using within this video, such as between 2 points. So all of the object snappings, they work within a command, so you have to be in a command for them to be used. And lastly, you can access object snapping by typing OS on your keyboard, and as you can see, it's got this magnet icon, and you can just click from the options below as well, so you can turn these on here, for example, by just clicking. Turn them on. You can also press F3, and as you can see, it turns off the icon. So let's say I wanted a random point, I didn't want it to snap to a certain point. Let's say I was drawing a line, for example, I can quickly turn it on and off by just clicking F3. Now I'm going to go down to my object snapping, and for this demonstration, just make sure that these are turned on. A good thing to note is my ortho mode is off. So for this demonstration, you don't need your ortho mode on. Either your polar tracking, that can be turned off as well. All of the object snappings I'm using have been color coordinated to the 2D camera that we will go on to create. And as you can see, also I've got these icons here. These represent the icons subject to the point filter. So midpoint is displayed by a triangle icon. You can just look and see which icon is popping up, and then you can see which point filter it is referring to. Now if you're following along, this should be the same as you have within your folder provided by CAD to you, and these are just basically lines that we need within our drawing. So this is just going to be the base drawing. This is going to be our starting point for this exercise. So our first point we're going to cover is Endpoint, and as you can see, the icon for that is a square. So within this video we're going to be using lines. So we're going to type the line command, and we're going to zoom in, and as you can see, the Endpoint icon has popped up. So we're just going to do click. I'm just going to go back to it, and then if you see, I'm just hovering my mouse about because I know now that it's connected to that endpoint line. This is something I'm going to use within this video a lot. So if you go back to your first initial point and you move your mouse, let's say left, and if it's reasonably straight, you see a kind of tracking. That's the extension of that line. So if you hover your mouse and it kind of guides your mouse, that's kind of your extension. When you follow that green arrow, that tells you it's 90 degrees. So as you see here, it's got extension. That's the kind of feature that I'm going to be using. So I'm just going to drag my line over here, move my mouse. I'm going to click this endpoint, and then press enter to finish the command. I'm going to do the same. Zoom down to this first line, go along. I only want to select my endpoint. A good method also as well for selecting any of these object snappings is by typing the first 3 letters of the object snapping. So for example, if I was to type E-N-D from my keyboard, then press enter. It highlights the point filter. This can be also activated with commands that are not turned on. So that's why, for example, not all of my object snapping are turned on within this drawing, because it can get very busy and very confusing to see which points you're trying to snap to. We're going to use the endpoint again. So we're going to do a line command from this line here, and we're just going to track like we did earlier. We want to see that green line, as you can see there. Now I'm going to type the distance of 1, 1, 3. And what that's done is it's made that my start point. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my mouse back over to that endpoint. I'm just going to track it going towards the left, and I'm going to type a distance of 63 and move up. So effectively what it's done is created a line around here, and then it's moved from that distance 63, so you can see 63 there. And then I'm going to move my mouse up. So as you can see, it's got my distance of my line, my length of my line there to the left, and to the right it's got my degrees. So I just move my mouse, you can see the degrees increases, and if I push up, so does the length. So now I want a set angle and a set length of my line. So I'm going to type 33. I'm going to press the tab. What that does, that switches over to the angle now, so I can decide the angle. I'm going to type 60 and press enter. Then I'm going to find this endpoint again. I'm going to move my mouse over, making sure I see that green line once again, and I'm going to type 30, press enter. Now I'm going to press escape, and now I'm going to go into midpoint, which is the triangle icon, as you can see there. Now I'm going to select my line, and I'm going to type the mirror command, MI, and then click on the option, the mirror command. I'm going to type the MID, my command line. That stands for midpoint. Press the midpoint of this line that we created. I'm going to put it to the midpoint of this line, and then erase source object. We're going to click no. It's mirrored this line, and I'm now going to also use the line command. I'm going to click the midpoint, this line, and go down to the midpoint of this line we previously created. Click on my mouse, and then press enter. I'm going to do the same again. Midpoint to midpoint. Now I'm going to create a circle. I'm going to use the center. Then we're going to use the between 2 points option as well. Press Control and right click, as I said earlier. Now I'm going to click option between 2 points. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select the midpoint. Just move our mouse down and click the midpoint of this line also. And then we're going to move our mouse, and then we're going to type set distance of 80 and press enter. And then we're going to use the offset command. We're going to type a distance of 10. And we're just going to press this item here and then press outwards. So as you can see, the circle that we created is in the midpoint of these two lines. So let's say I was to draw a line, for example. You can see that the midpoint of this line lines up to the center of this circle. Get rid of this line. Now the next one is the node command, and that's the icon for it. Kind of a circle with an X in the middle, and this command works for nodes, which is effectively a point within AutoCAD. So it's kind of a point for reference. Let's say you want to make note of a certain point within AutoCAD. This is what you would effectively use. And now, as you can see, my node command isn't turned on, but we can just type the first 3 letters of the object snap, and I'll be able to use it. So I'm going to use the move command. Select object, we're going to select the node, As you can see, it's not allowing me to select the node at all. It's not coming up with a point, and this is where the point field of node comes into play. So now I'm going to type NOD, press enter, and as you can see the node point filter comes up, and click here. Then we're going to hover our mouse, and as you can see it's the center of that circle. Just going to click there. As you can see it's moved the node. Next one is Quadrant. I personally don't have it on within my point filters, but like I say, it can easily be typed in within your keyboard using the first 3 letters of the point filter. It's a very useful command, especially with dealing with drawing basic shapes, which is a common requirement within AutoCAD. We are within our line command. I'm going to type QUA and press enter. As you can see, this icon is being notified to us. I'm going to click, drag our mouse down. We are then going to type same thing as previous once again. Then we're going to do the same thing over this side. Yep, so we're going to use our line command. Type as you can see, it just kind of highlights the kind of quadrants of a circle. That's its primary use. So we're going to use tangent. It's again used on curves and circles. Going to use our line command once again. Then we're going to type TAN, enter. As you can see, it's highlighted. I'll zoom in to show you a bit more. Just going to click, and then we're going to type the command again. Good thing to note as well, when you haven't got a command turned on within your point filters, like it is below, you have to type it on each time you want to use that point filter. So as you can see, when placing this line I have to type in the tangent command twice, because that's to select my first point and then my second point on my line. As I click now, I'll press enter. This command is more used on the edges of lines, like that. It's more used on the tangent of a circle. Now we're going to use intersection and the extension. So now we're going to use our line command. If you hover our mouse over the intersection of these 2 lines, as you can see, it notifies us that's the intersection. Basically what this is just where 2 objects meet, basically their clashing point effectively. And what we're going to do is just going to hover our mouse like this, making sure we see the green line. You don't have to hover it for long. This may be hard to get used to at first. If you just hover it a little bit like this, for example, then we can type in a set distance of 30, and then from there we're going to go back to this point, and we're just going to keep on tracking the line like this, basically back over that point that we've just created, as you can see. Then we're going to type in a distance of 30, then we're going to press enter. Now parallel command, this icon is 2 lines, as you can see. So we're going to click a random point in this drawing, just as long as it's underneath this line, as you can see here. And then we're going to type the first 3 letters of the parallel point filter. Press enter. If you hover our mouse underneath this line, as you can see, there is the parallel command. You can play them. Now the next command we're going to use is perpendicular. I'm going to type the line command. I'm going to type PER. As you can see, this icon is displayed itself. Just going to click, and we're going to type 10 horizontal, and we're going to click. And as you can see, it's created a perpendicular line that's perpendicular to this top line, as you can see, and that's how the perpendicular command works. So now I'm going to use the insert and the nearest command. Now, insert is used for object snapping for text especially. As you can see, its icons are here, so you have insert and the nearest icon. So now we're going to move. As you can see, the insert icon has made itself known. We're going to click, and then we're going to do, we just drag the text away from this line, and then we're going to type NEA for nearest. As you can see, the point filter has made itself known. What we'll do is just going to drag while tracking on that line, and just select a point roughly there, and that's how those two commands are used. So the nearest command is just used to snap to the nearest point. So whatever object you have the nearest point to it, that's what you would snap to effectively. Then we have the apparent intersection. So what this does is it tells you the meeting point between two lines. So we're going to type circle command, and then we're going to type APP, and then as you can see, this icon made itself known, and we're going to actually select that line. And as we hover over this line, you see there's an intersection icon. As I kind of hover my mouse over this line, it's made itself known. And then we're going to click that distance, and then we're going to click the endpoint of this line. As you can see, the apparent midpoint has made itself known. So let's say it was to lengthen these lines, for example. You don't have to do this at home, you can just see the midpoint is the same for these two objects. So where these two lines meet is now the same as the circle effectively, and that's what the command does. That's how it works. So now we're on to geometric center, and what this does effectively is similar to the center, but this is used for splines and polyline effectively, so shapes that are not so regular, for example. So for a circle it's very easy to find the center of it, but for multi-edge spline it might be harder, and this is what this geometric center is used for. So now we're going to select the blue selection by just clicking left to right, and then we're going to type the move command. As you can see, it's geometric center. It's made itself known to us, as you can see there. I'm just going to click this icon, and then as you can see, the center point, and as it made itself known, the center point, we're just going to click. Hopefully you guys followed along correctly and have something similar to what I've made here. But the main thing is that you get the principles behind the point filters within CAD. Please let me know in the comment section down below of any CAD related topics you want me to cover moving forward.